There's some other roofing companies who will do that for free. I will let you know that the charging for the inspections is different than an estimate. I'll write an estimate for somebody because it doesn't take very long, 10-15 minutes. When it comes to someone needing an inspection to see if something's wrong with the roof, where the leak's coming from, if they should file an insurance claim, if there's damage, if it needs to be replaced yet, if it should be washed. If the customer doesn't know exactly what needs to be done, if they're not sure it needs to be replaced, then we need to do an inspection. I would say that's 99% of the time. We need to do an inspection. It's going to be better than me just giving an estimate and replacing it. If it doesn't need to be replaced, let's not replace it. So I charge for my inspections. So here's the process. I'm going to walk you through sort of our process for it. I just pulled up to this house. I've actually got some panels for a commercial job I'm doing in a couple days, but I have got my ladder set up already on the house. Now I'm going to go through some of the equipment that I use. Basically everything I use is in this box right here, so I'm going to kind of go through that. Alright, so in this box we have my cougar paws. These are my special boots for climbing on the roof. They've got this pad here which can be replaced. It's just velcroed on. So replace those about every month or two. Then we've got my wheel, which whenever you spin this wheel, it will tell you how many inches or feet something is. So that's what I do for quick measurements on our gutter quotes and estimates and things. Next we've got my tool belt, which is going to house my gloves, a rag in case I start sweating. It's going to have my chalk, my GoPro, a clipboard with a couple pieces of paper, some pens, some business cards, a shingle gauge, which will tell us what type of shingles are up there, and then a phone pouch for my phone to go in. In here is also my harness and rope in case the roof is steeper. We're not going to be using that today. If I have to get in the attic, I have a battery-powered rigid light. I've got a bunch of extra chalk, and then my Ridge Pro. So let's go ahead and get on the roof and see what's happening today. This is my normal standard process. Once I grab my boots and I've got my belt on, made sure all my equipment is inside, I'm gonna actually just walk up to the base of the ladder, and I like to change my shoes right here at the base of the ladder. Now I'll show you guys, this tool here is called a ladder lock. I'll show you how this is used. Once we get to the top of the roof, I'm going to clip this onto the ladder and the gutter. So we're just going to clip this on just like so. And we're going to take this and slide it in here. And we're going to tighten this little wing nut up right here. Alright, so once I come on the roof, one of the very first things I want to inspect is I'm going to look under this edge right here. And I'm just going to verify, is there starter shingle? So this is what appears to be a true starter shingle. We can tell because it has that tar line and it is actually sticking. That's a good sign. Then we're going to pick up both layers. I'm going to look under there. I do see a tar paper, and this is either plywood or some sort of space decking. We do need to verify that. So there is no drip edge. So this is a plywood. That's good. Alright, so there is no drip edge. So that is going to be definitely something we want to note. Next up, we're going to note how much of this granule loss there is. We're looking for all of this fiberglass exposed because the shingles are really three parts. It's fiberglass, there's asphalt, and there's these granules on top, these little tiny granules, those little rocks. So really, when the fiberglass is exposed, fiberglass doesn't have waterproofing capabilities. That's what the asphalt tar is for. And once that asphalt tar is so gone that you can see the fiberglass, we know that our shingles no longer are going to be able to shed water the way they're intended to. And of course, the asphalt goes bad when the granules start falling off. So once the granules start falling off, you end up with all these bald, patchy looking spots. All right, the next thing we want to really take a look at is I like to just kind of walk the roof and really just kind of see what exactly is going on. Is there anything kind of weird going on? For instance, we have a weird sideways shingle thing going on here. This isn't really the right way to do this. This would be way better if this would have been metal caps. And you can see here, the customer told me he actually got up here and started tarring a bunch of stuff. I mean, this roof is just really, really old. It also looks like there's a couple little metal or ice and water patch or some sort of patch here. So we know there was definitely an issue there. So here on the back, you can also see this has been repaired at some point. You can see the newer shingles. So this may not have had a cricket originally, and then they built one, which is awesome. But there's obviously some more issues with the vinyl siding that could have been fixed. So I've taken a piece of chalk and I rubbed it all along the top of this metal ridge vent. And if you can see all of these little dents, these are all places hail hit. So we've got what we consider collateral. What that means is we've got collateral hail damage on the roof. In other words, evidence that it's hailed and it's on more than just the shingles. So if we've got metal damage like that, that's a good sign. So we also like to come over and we'll check the top of this chimney. So you can see we've got a little ding there, a ding there, a ding here, a ding right there, and a ding right here. So again, we've got collateral damage on this vent. You can kind of see some of the dings and dents that it makes when the hail hit. So now we've got to try and find hail on this roof. So I generally like to do this in a few different areas. So I'm going to start on this front side, and I'm going to try and find about 10 to 15 hail hits. So let me show you kind of what I'm looking for, because this is a very controversial thing. What I look for and what an adjuster looks for and what another contractor looks for and what a different adjuster, that could be 4 different things. I've seen everybody call something different hail. So I'm going to try and find all 4 of those scenarios with at least 7 of each in a 10 by 10 area. And I'm going to do that right here. Yep, because I look right above me and there's no trees above me. So we're going to do it right here. So one of the first things I like to look for is I really want to try and stay sort of towards the middle of the mat. I don't want a ton of granule loss. What I'm really looking for is kind of a mushy, strange pattern. And when I find one, I'll show you guys what I look for with hail. This roof has such severe granule loss already as it is. This is going to be difficult. I did find a wind damage shingle here. It's been creasing it right there. You can actually see that crease. You can probably see the crease in this one too. Yep, again, wind damage right there. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to mark both of those with a line and a W. All right, I'm going to put the camera down so I can focus on trying to find some of these spots, and then we'll come back and show you guys. All right, so we've gone through and we have found hail hits. I'm going to show you the few different types of hail hits that we're looking for. So this particular one, what you'll notice is there's sort of a round circle with the granules in the middle are pushed into it. And it's a little mushy, kind of like an apple. It's a little mushy, a little soft. The granules are pushed in, and then it creates this circle on the outside. I've seen some people call that hail. Here's another good example of that. You've got all these mushy ones here. This is a little bit too much granule loss, but you'll see this circular disc right here, which is when that hail does like that, it kind of splatters the granules off the roof. I'm gonna show you another one. So this here, you can tell these granules have been smushed down. It's cracked this fiberglass matting, and it's created this circular motion or pattern to it. So that's a good one. Let me show you one that's not a good one. That would be this one. Although I've seen some people call this hail. This is simply a blister. See, there's no smushed, impacted granules. There's no real circle shape to it. It's not mushy. I wouldn't call that hail, but I've seen other people call it hail before. Call it what you want. Again, here's another one. I wouldn't call this hail either. However, the fiberglass mat is broke here, and on the underside, it does have a little bit of a dent to it. So that's a good sign that could be hail. But it's probably old because now the granules are all missing. But in this spot, I found what I would consider different versions of hail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 different spots with 4 different types of variations. I've also found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wind damage tabs. Let me show you one that's a good example. Right in here, we're gonna look at this shingle. If you'll follow my finger right across here, you're gonna see this crack where the granules are missing. You can see the fiberglass. If I zoom in on that, you can see this fiberglass mat is actually tore. And if I pick up on it, you can see just how badly this fiberglass is torn. And that's because the wind picks it up and down, up and down, up and down, sort of like the top on a soda can. And that will eventually make this shingle go missing, which won't take much longer. I'll show you another one. Here's another good example. Right in here, you can see this clearly defined black line. Zoom in on it, and you can tell that the fiberglass right in here is indeed broken. You've got another one there, another one here, another clearly defined wind shingle there. It is lifted, and that is where it bends. It is gonna break. Another one here. This one, matter of fact, is already broken through. We also got a few on the back. I'm not going to do a test square on the back. I think we have defined. We will leave that up to the insurance. So I want you guys to see how I rub my chalk against this metal vent on this roof, and you can clearly see, even more so than anywhere else, all of these hail hits. This roof definitely has hail damage. So here's another really big thing I'm looking at. If we look at this row of shingles right here, and we go this way, it's pretty straight, and then right about here, every single row goes down. Even this shingle, these have completely slid. This entire thing has slid, and I'll show you why. I'm gonna just pick up this shingle here, it's already loose, and look under it. Do you see a nail? There should be a nail right there, and there's not one. There's not a single nail. There is one on this end, but there's not one there. Let's look under here and see if there's a nail here. There's not a nail there, and there's not even a nail on this side. This entire shingle right here has one nail, and unfortunately, it's the story everywhere. This one, I don't even think it has a single nail in that shingle. That's a big, big, big problem. Also, if you noticed, look at this. There's another roofing system underneath this one. This is a double layer. Guys, this is such a huge no-no. It's a big problem. I actually shouldn't even be walking on this. You can see there was a repair done here. All right, some other things that I really want to pay attention to is these vents right here. Man, so many times these vents can be from like the 50s or 60s. And in the year 2021, I see roof replaced, but guess what? This is still from the 50s or 60s. This particular one is gonna be from 1979. Now, this is the second roof and it hasn't been replaced yet. And I'll tell you what, I know a lot of companies who would probably end up leaving that, spray painting it, calling it good, a little bit of silicone. And you know what? They'd probably be okay to do that. We just don't do that. This guy right here is gonna get completely replaced. So I have to take a measurement so that I know what size base, collar, and cap to buy. Now, as far as the actual stack goes, I'm not gonna replace that. I'm not an HVAC guy. I do give my customers the option to, and if they wanna do that, then we just hire an HVAC guy. I have a guy who'll come and do it for $200. He comes and connects everything up on the inside, writes certification saying it's all good, and then we fix the rest of the roof. But generally, unless I think it needs to be done, I recommend just leaving the stack but replacing all of the other components. So that is sort of my inspection. Things I look for: tar, missing granules, more tar. It tells me there's a lot of leaks. This customer has a ton of leaks over here. This customer doesn't need to be on his roof anymore either. You can also see right here, the area I'm about to climb off of is the path of travel here, because this is very worn down. So people are getting up here all the time, on and off this roof in this exact same spot. So I'll go ahead and get down. All right, now that I've come down off the ladder, I'm going to change my shoes and I'm gonna start taking a walk around the house to look at things like siding, gutters, garage doors, windows, screens, decks, and things like that. Let me get my shoes changed and I'll take you on that walk. So I typically start in a counter, or I guess a clockwise left side going around. If you notice here, this could be possibly some hail splatter from where this has algae and the hail knocked it off. I don't think it is, because these are pretty perfectly circular. Usually hail splatters can have more of like a strike to it. And I just like to rub my hands sort of up and down, or at least visually as high as I can, to see. This particular downspout has a big tree blocking it. So we're gonna go to the next one. Let's see if we can find anything on this one. Again, from the looks of it, not seeing anything. Again, the hail at this house was relatively small. I might suggest like a washing of the house. Could be nice. All right, there's a gate over there, so we're gonna head this way. Why don't we first, let's go ahead and just rub our hands right across this metal trim in front of the house and see if we feel anything. It's a little coiled, a little bumpy, but I'm certainly not feeling anything I would consider hail damage. All right, let's go over to the driveway side of the house. Sometimes I would check for screens, but those screens are pretty messed up. Okay, we've got wooden garage doors, so those aren't generally going to get like dings in them exactly. We have a ding here. This is somebody ran into it, a hammer, something like that. Generally, what we want to do is try and stay shoulder if we can and above, but definitely nothing below the belt will usually count. Okay, not seeing too much on any of this. All right, and it does look like the back is gated. Yeah, we're gonna say there's no collateral off of the roof. Just give a good visual inspection of that gutter there. I don't see anything. Window screens look good. All right. Thank you guys for watching this inspection. Hope you guys learned at least my method to inspecting these roofs. I try to do it in a methodical way, make sure I take pictures, a video, document everything, and we'll see you guys on the next one.